Greetings, viewers. There's a lot of chit-chat all over the internet at the moment about this movie called Zeitgeist, so I thought I might as well add in my 2 cents worth. Well, I happen to have the DVD of it here, and you probably can't read it because of the camera, but let's read out what it says on the front. Well, first of all, I'll just point out that Zeitgeist is divided into 3 parts. The second part is basically about, it covers many of the pertinent details about the 9/11 attacks and other terrorist operations. I don't have any real problems with that section. I have some interpretive differences here and there, but overall it's pretty sound. And yeah, the third part, which was essentially about the global financial scam and its links with the war machine and so on. Again, didn't have any major problems with that part. So parts 2 and part 3, for people who are interested in this sort of genre of movie, aren't particularly controversial. The main one which is controversial is part 1, which purports to essentially prove that Jesus Christ never existed and that essentially all or virtually all religions are made up of the same basic story. I'll just read out what it says on the DVD. It says, throughout world history, along with Jesus Christ, there are dozens of virgin-born crucified saviours who bared the same set of attributes and symbolism, like 12 disciples, teacher at 12, star in the east, Sirius, born December the 25th, the equinox, dead for 3 days and resurrected, performed miracles and healings, followed by 3 kings, that's the stars of Orion's belt apparently, etc. This film draws some startling parallels between world religions, history, mythology, astronomy/astrology, current world affairs, and the long-going religio-political manipulation continuing for many thousands of years and into present day. And essentially they're saying that the story of Jesus closely parallels Krishna, Buddha, Salavana, Zulus, Horus, Odin. Great. The list goes on. Now, while I was watching this movie, one of the things I noticed was it really plucked at my heartstrings, and it was a very well-made movie. Like, the people who made it knew how to make movies, which is relatively rare in that genre of movie. I'm sure many of us are familiar with many a video where the sound and the video out of sync and the video is terrible and so on and so forth. Very amateurish, a bit like this one, really. So it was a very, very powerful movie, I found. And whenever I find a movie affects me in that way, I always just wait to let my head clear and think about it a bit closer. Now, I'd had heard something about how the story of Jesus Christ is similar to forgotten who it was in India. I remember reading that one in one of David Icke's books. But Zeitgeist is basically saying they're all like that, and so it had to trigger my skepticism, my skepticism circuits a bit. Now, as we look closer, it turns out that part of Zeitgeist is essentially a lot of nonsense. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go into it, and it's also not particularly a strong field of mine, so I'll let others who are more knowledgeable about this particular area deal with it. There's an internet radio show I've just become aware of by a guy called Chris White, and I'll put the links in the description column, but I'll also read it out. It's conspiracyclothes.com/nowhere-to-run. And he's been doing quite a lot of good work exposing liars in the so-called truth movement. So I'll provide you with his link, and also to the Zeitgeist challenge he's put up. Now, whether one believes in Jesus Christ or not, or thinks he's the saviour or not, really isn't the point here. Neither is one's religious beliefs or whether one's an atheist. What the issue really is here is historical accuracy and honesty and integrity, which, you know, if we're part of what's supposed to be a truth movement, is kind of important. So let's work on it, eh? So yeah, so he's got a Zeitgeist challenge, plus there's lots of radio shows, and yeah, there's a description there, so yeah, you can read it. There's also another website called thedivineevidence.com. Now, I haven't gone through this in detail, so I can't vouch for its veracity, really. However, just from what I have looked at, the one thing they have shown quite clearly is that what Zeitgeist is saying is wrong. And also related, Zeitgeist didn't talk about the work of Zecharia Sitchin at all, but many of the people that were sourced, such as Jordan Maxwell, do base a lot of their work on Zecharia Sitchin, who claims that aliens came, I've forgotten the exact number of millennia ago, and genetically interfered with us. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm not sure, but apparently Zecharia Sitchin has made so many mistakes. In other words, Sitchin is wrong.com goes into the details. It's put together by a guy called Michael S. Heiser, who's actually a scholar, and he's not just some sort of crude pseudo-skeptical debunker either. He actually realizes that there are mysteries in history that need to be resolved, but he's pointing out Zecharia Sitchin isn't doing the job. So yeah, sitchiniswrong.com. I'll provide all the links to all these various sites, but what this really sort of comes down to is we're supposed to be, or at least those who have been promoting Zeitgeist all over the place, are supposed to be part of, what is called the truth movement. That is exposing, hidden information, hidden agendas, and discussing them and looking at ways of, well, not so much fighting them, but changing the situation to stop these agendas from having any traction. And one thing I have become very conscious of in the last few months is that many in the so-called truth movement, many of the so-called truth tellers, the truth speakers, and so-called truth seekers, are a bunch of frauds. So some of them with direct links or close links to the intelligence networks, and others to the secret society networks. So in the future, I'm going to be producing more videos on this topic. Will the real truth seekers please stand up? Where I'll be exposing some of these people, or at least showing people where to go to get thorough exposures. But more to the point, I'm also then going to be discussing what can we do about it. What's a practical way to run a truth movement. Anyway, so that's my thoughts for now. I think Zeitgeist has got to be taken with extreme skepticism, and given the blatant nonsense in the first part, one also has to then think, well, what were these people playing at with the second and third parts as well? I mean, they seem okay, but like I said, I did have some interpretive differences with those parts. I might discuss that on another occasion. But anyway, that's all for now. And do please go and see Zeitgeist, or you can see it for free on Google Video Google or whatever. Watch it, but don't take it as gospel, whatever you do. Anyway, see you out there.